Hello and welcome to Pluribus Unum's Fireside Chats. Not as if yours, but hey, it's something. Hope you all enjoyed the special bonus video that came out. I finally answered the question that you've all been waiting for so long. What is my political ideology? Nobody picked it up, but nobody seemed to understand what it was until now. Hopefully things cleared up. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get right into the news. First, coming from the United Kingdom, the UK has decided to proscribe Palestine Action as a terrorist group. So, for those who don't know, Palestine Action was a activist group that was as the name suggests, they're very pro-Palestinian. And recently they got into trouble because they broke into a I think it was a military base or something like that. Now, a political organization breaking into a military base could have led to a million different bad things, but what they decided to do instead was they decided to dump paint on one of the planes, and due to that fact, they are now proscribed as a terrorist organization. The vote was pretty universal, 385 votes to 26, and they also point out that the order also bans, I think they banned multiple organizations in the same vote. So they also banned two neo-Nazi groups alongside it. So of course there's a lot of things that people have been saying that's a little bit there's a lot of things people have been saying, putting Palestine Action in the same group as these two neo-Nazi groups is a little bit strange. And then also many people point out the fact the Israelis are allowed to murder a bunch of Palestinians, not considered terrorists. But Palestine Action drops paint on something and they're evil. It's similar thing happened because I remember there were a bunch of climate activists that threw tomato soup at a painting, and then people were literally demanding for them to be murdered, and it's just dude, things could have been a lot worse. Dude, literally, the things could have been a lot worse. I'm not even necessarily I'm just maybe hypothetically, maybe we should do actions that would prevent these, because here's the thing, ultimately, if the United Kingdom government and governments all around the world were not aiding and abetting the Israeli genocide of the Palestinians, then maybe they wouldn't have broken into a fucking military base to drop paint on the plane. Just a thought, just a perspective, just an interesting hypothetical idea. It's just shock of all shocks. They've seen a live stream genocide for multiple for I'm trying to remember exactly how many months, because I have it written down somewhere, but almost 3 years. I mean, technically it's almost 2 years, but then again, it's also almost 3 years. But you get my point. It's been over 600 days of the genocide of Palestine at the very least. Technically, I know some people might type it comments Palestine genocide has been going on for a lot longer. But yeah, I know. But I'm talking about the most recent wave, the one that's the one that everybody calls the live stream genocide. People are getting antsy. And unfortunately, this it's this thing. Of course, it's the same thing that happens in Palestine. They've spent years trying to advocate things nicely, peacefully, everything that they have been desperately trying to, and those cries are not being heard. They're not being heard. Don't get mad when they are now starting to do things that are not in your perceived comfort zone. Maybe you should have fucking listened to them when they were peaceful. But that's going to be a bit more to tackle with the main topic of the video. But you get my point. I hope you're getting my point. People are getting antsy, and people are now it's hard to say. It's hard to explain. But you get the perspective. It's the same. Nelson Mandela started out as a peaceful activist. Then he shifted his strategy. And unfortunately, he had to shift his strategy because people weren't listening to him. That's the sad thing that happened. Start listening to the cries of people who want peace and prosperity when they're being peaceful. And the same thing is Palestine Action is being proscribed as a terrorist organization for dropping paint on a plane. And it seems that this action has finally pushed Britain to a new direction, because Zarah Sultana, a former Labour MP who was kicked out of the Labour Party for like voting to like protect disabled children, shockingly, that was an anti-labor position. She has basically finally announced, like, because like this is the thing, like if you remember this story, like a couple of Labor MPs voted to vote for the Scottish National Party's bill that would give like benefits to people with certain, like, to give benefits to people, but like, the Labour government was like, no, we want to do a specific version of that is a shitty version of this. And they're like, if any of you Labour Party fucking members decide to vote for this good agenda, then we're going to kick you out. And a ton of them did, so they got kicked out. Some of them ended up getting back into the fold, but apparently some haven't been able to get back in. Or I think it's like a situation where it's like, they're technically still considered independent, but they're also technically considered Labour. I don't really know the full ins and outs of that, but like the point is, Zarah Sultana and I think another one was John McDonnell, who they were still considered independents to an extent. Like on the websites, I think they're still considered independents, but broadly, like they're still sort of considered like it's a similar thing with Corbyn, where it's like he took a million years, like he was kicked out of the Labour Party, but he still kept holding on like the hope, like I'm just gonna get renominated and everything's gonna be peachy keen. But for Zarah, it seems like she's officially just like, nope. She basically just went, no, I'm done. And she's just announced immediately, like, I'm going to be forming a new political party with Jeremy Corbyn and the Independent Alliance. And Corbyn basically just said, yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. So things are finally over the edge. Like the slow push for a new left-wing party in the UK has finally happened. And I'm excited. Hopefully things are actually going to pan out good. There are a lot of people who've been saying a lot of different things about what's happening with this party. Now let's get into some of the things. Like first, let's get into the most useless things about this party. Name and logo and the whatever. I personally want the party's name and logo to still be the Independent Alliance with the current logo of the 3 arrows going upwards. I think that logo looks good. It has the colors of Palestine in it, and it gets the message across about the labor, about like, we're rising up against the people on top. That's a pretty good message. But also, I just like the new Independent Alliance. They're probably going to change both of those things. I mean, the Independent Group for Change changed a little bit of their logo. Like, they changed it to, like, I mean, hopefully things don't change that much. But, like, regardless, that's like the least important thing to me. Actually, that's not the least important thing to me. That's the thing I desperately am trying to get the Independent Alliance people on Twitter to understand. Like, tweet out to the Independent Alliance people saying, like, we need to keep this logo or keep the name, whatever. But that's not really that important. It's just because I just think that the logo and the name go really hard in the fucking thing. But a thing about, like, the name is that it also gives a little bit of an idea of certain things in regards to the party's, like, possible alliances. Because some people are saying that one of the big things they need to do is that this party needs to start pushing for an alliance with other groups in the United Kingdom. It's a strategy that even I have actually expressed support for in the past. I stated at one point that I think that they should team up and align with other left-wing forces in the UK. Like, they should back Sinn Féin, they should help the Scottish National Party, they should help Plaid Cymru. Now, I don't know if that's the case, because they voted for the proscribing of Palestine Action. Like, not Sinn Féin. Sinn Féin doesn't vote on anything. But one group of people, there are actually 2 groups that have been floated as possible alliance members. One is, of course, George Galloway's fucking loser workers' party of Great Britain that nobody gives a shit about. Nobody gives a shit about it. But he keeps saying that he keeps pretending that he's relevant, so he keeps trying to, like, be like, I am going to, I'm not going to do an impression of him because I don't fucking care about fucking George Galloway. But, like, Galloway has desperately been trying to say, like, he takes credit for Corbyn leaving the Labour Party, even though that's clearly Keir Starmer's doing, but, like, the point is, nobody really gives a shit about that. The one that people are really, really trying is a possible alliance with the Green Party. I don't know how possible that's going to be, but regardless, like, whatever Corbyn thinks is best, I think will do, because Corbyn's the brains of the operation. Even though, like, I think this is, because some people even point out the fact that it's smart that Zarah is the one who broke the news of this new party and not Corbyn. Even though technically Corbyn did break the news, because it's been a long thing. If you've been paying attention to this story's been boiling for a long period of time. Like, basically, ever since Corbyn was kicked out of the Labour Party and had to run his candidacy solo, everybody immediately thought, new party time. And the reason why Corbyn is because Corbyn has always been the guy who he's like, let's be real. Jeremy Corbyn is extremely loyal to the Labour Party. That's a fact. He stayed with the party for a long period of time. He stayed with it during Blair. He stayed with it during the New Labour part. He stayed in it when they were shitting on him and smearing him and lying about him. He stayed because he felt faith in the Labour Party. And they tossed him out like yesterday's trash. Now, immediately, he could have immediately started a new political party, started a new movement, and started, like, pushing forward. But he didn't. Because that actually happens a lot. Like, Chris Williamson, one of the fucking losers in the fucking Labour Party, he was kicked out of the Labour Party, and then he immediately started a fucking brand new political party before ending up bending his knees to Galloway. But the thing is, Corbyn didn't do that. He waited. Like, even as the other members of his independent alliance said that they should form a new political party, Corbyn was the one who was always like, I'm not sure. I don't think this is right yet. It's only after he basically gave Keir Starmer a chance to be like, look, if there's something there, we can work with you. But Keir Starmer has just keep proving him wrong. So it's just like, there's no room for people like us in the Labour Party anymore. Like, it's the same thing. Like, he wanted the independent alliance to include all those Labour MPs that got kicked out. And it seems like it's starting. Zarah Sultana, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be some Labour MPs that are probably going to cross the bench. We'll, of course, have to wait and see how things pan out. But considering Reform UK was able to become very prominent despite not really much thing, clearly it's possible that things could go well. But anyway, speaking of things not going well, let's talk about America. First, the Department of Justice has announced plans to prioritize cases to revoke citizenship. The Justice Department is aggressively prioritizing efforts to strip some Americans of their U.S. citizenship. Department leadership is directing its attorneys to prioritize denationalization in cases involving naturalized citizens who commit certain crimes and giving U.S. attorneys wider discretion on when to pursue the tactic. According to a June 11th memo published online, the move is aimed at U.S. citizens who were not born in the country. According to data from 2023, close to 25 million immigrants were nationalized citizens. At least one person has already been denaturalized in recent weeks. On June 13th, a judge ordered the revocation of the citizenship of Elliot Duke, who uses they-them pronouns. Duke is an American military veteran originating from the UK who was convicted for distributing, pretty bad things, something they later admitted they were doing prior to becoming a US citizen. Denaturalization is a tactic that was heavily used during the McCarthy era during the late 1940s and early 1950s, and one that was expanded during the Obama administration and grew further under President Trump's first term. It meant to strip citizenship from those who may have lied about their criminal convictions or membership of illegal groups like the Nazi Party or communists during the McCarthyism or other this is ultimately a bad thing, because this is the thing. This is the thing about this, you need to understand, because a lot of people don't understand this. A lot of people are really gonna, a lot of people, they see this and take it at face value. It's not face value. This is what's gonna happen with this. You give them an inch, they're gonna take them out. That's what's gonna happen. That's the thing. That's literally the thing. Everyone said that Donald Trump was only gonna go after the illegal aliens. He's only gonna go after the illegals. Why you guys being scared? He's only going after the illegals. And then it's like, now we're going after the DACAs. Now we're going after the homegrowns. Now we're going after all the people who literally followed all the rules. It's like, huh. Now, this is a bit weird. I wonder, where's this line going to end? Because when you start denaturalizing people, that's when things are going to be that's when things just start going really bad. People point out that during certain historical events, people were denaturalized, and then they would be pushed into situations that were bad. People are afraid of similar situations that are going on right now. Like how people always go these rights only apply to citizens. So then they were going to strip the citizenship status of certain people, and then, it's a slippery slope. And it's the biggest thing, especially because it's a slippery slope. It really is a slippery slope, because if we want to take it at its... I don't even want to say it, because if I say it, then someone, a Republican might hear this, and it might pass the message over to fucking Donald Trump. If it really is... if we really take it at face value, this could literally be applied to anybody. Because literally, again, every single person in the United States right now, unless you are a 100% native blood indigenous person of America, is by de facto an illegal immigrant. Every single one of them. Everyone. And again, give them an inch, take a mile. Let's see what happens. there's nothing really to say, because, like, there's nothing to say, really. Next story is Marjorie Taylor, like, because this coincides with the next story, because the next story is going to be, like, because I'm going to tell you how that story is going to connect to this story. Marjorie Taylor Greene says that Trump supports her bill, she is a whore, her bill to immediately draw new congressional districts, excluding non-citizens. Marjorie Taylor Greene posted on X that President Trump supports her bill, requiring that the U.S. government conduct a new census immediately to remove non-citizens from the count in the congressional districts. I just got off the phone with President Trump. She wrote this, like, basically, she's basically now the fucking, like everything, the Republican Party is lying about everything again. They're claiming that Joe Biden made a census where illegal immigrants were counted, even though a census was done under Trump. They're all, I'm just going to say a certain word, but, like, they're all less smart in the brain. And then they're going to immediately rush out a brand new census that is going to include a citizenship question. And then with the citizenship question on it, they're going to then like skew the results of the races, and it's going to redraw the districts. And so clearly, like I said before, everything I said about the Trump administration turning us into Nazi Germany was proven right once again. Every single thing. I genuinely believe that 2024 was the last free and fair elections that the United States has ever had. The closest, that was the last free and fair election. Hope you guys like free and fair elections, because we ain't seen those ever again. This is going to lead to massive gerrymandering, which is going to obviously skew the 2026 map. And remember, this coincides with Donald Trump then using the Department of Justice to start denaturalizing people. I wonder why he would want to start denaturalizing people and then publish a brand new census. Almost as if he wants to skew the results of the census. Like, for real, we're doomed. I'm literally just here because, I'm literally 100% convinced we're doomed. I'm just here to, like, fucking watch the world burn at this point. There's nothing, like, even the happiness of Mamdani, Mamdani probably will win, but will that matter? Because, like, oh well, let's just go into the funny haha news story about Mamdani. For those who don't know, people are really, really desperately trying to cancel Zohran Mamdani. They've been doing a lot of things. Like, it's funny. Like, literally, ever since Mamdani actually became a prominent political force in the New York City, like, Democratic primary, they've been trying desperately to cancel him. Like, desperately. And all of them, almost all of the things that all the things that are used to try and claim that he is bad relate to either his ideology, his religion, or his race. Literally all of them. And considering I don't care about either of those, considering I don't care about his race or religion, but I do care about his ideology, and his ideology is why I think he's a good candidate, makes the arguments really don't hit at all. Like, literally. It's like, I remember seeing over and over and over again at the last legs of the campaign, and they're literally like, look at this crazy guy. He says that he wants New York City to have state-run grocery stores. Oh my goodness, that's so insane, right, guys? And I'm sitting there like, that is literally the exact reason why I started supporting him. Literally the exact reason why I started saying, this guy is better than all the fucking other candidates. They used the exact, like, literally, they used that exact video of him announcing that policy. And I'm like, I remember, like, literally, I saw that, like, months ago, and I was like, hey, this guy sounds pretty cool. I think he should be the next mayor. And even though, again, it was very clear it was pretty clear as soon as he actually became prominent in the race that he was going to win. I'm mad that I didn't say it publicly, but I really am just like, I did not see a path outside of everyone dropping out and Cuomo and him being the only ones on the ballot that he could have won. That he couldn't have won. If, literally, there was literally no other scenario that I could really even see as a possibility that he would lose. But regardless, now it's the general election, and I still don't see any real reason why he would lose. Especially, like, as they're desperately trying to get Eric Adams to somehow become politically relevant again, I really do not see any path to victory outside from anyone outside of Mamdani, excluding the fact that it's a fucking, like I guess we can't exclude the fact that it is a deep blue city, but that, like, literally, this is the thing. The only two groups that Eric Adams really is trying desperately, like, because he knows he can't win fucking any other groups. He can't win any other groups. Like the first thing he's trying to do is he's trying to get the Republicans to try and back him. Like, he's basically trying to get he wanted to get, like, Cuomo. He wants to get Cuomo and Silwa to back him. But the problem is, Silwa was his opponent last time. So he's going to convince those Republicans who didn't vote for you last, because I'm pretty sure there were a couple of Republicans who probably did vote for Eric Adams last time, and they're probably going to vote for him again. But they're going to have to convince the people who voted for Silwa last time to flip the vote to a candidate that they previously thought was too bad for New York City. And for reasons they don't... literally, I'm pretty sure the majority of the reasons why people voted for Silwa on the Republican line was because they viewed New York Democrats as corrupt. That magically won't change with Eric Adams, who's literally one of the most corrupt fucking mayors you could possibly imagine. But then you might say, but what about Trump? What about Trump? Well, Silwa especially doesn't like Trump, so I think a lot of New York Republicans might not necessarily like Trump that much. So the fact that Eric Adams is rushing to Trump's backside might be like, I don't know, man. I'm not sure that this is going to be the best route. It seems that his only route is to, one, try and make sure that those disaffected Mamdani voters don't vote for Andrew Cuomo and vote for him instead. But also, he wants to get two ethnic groups. He wants to get the Jewish vote and he wants to get the black vote. That's the two groups that he desperately wants. Because Eric Adams ideally sees himself as the only candidate for the black vote. But, because he's a black mayor. And, the Jewish vote is because he keeps trying to smear Mamdani as an anti-Semite. And that latter one is especially why this latest smear of Mamdani has come out. And basically, here's what happened. A guy who proposes the race IQ question, race realism, racist science, scientific racism, that guy basically hacked into Columbia, the school, and they found Zohran Mamdani's paperwork that he filed in school to try and get enrolled, and they found out that he listed his ethnicity. They said name your I have the thing right here. For the race and ethnicity questions, there are a couple of questions. Question 1, are you Hispanic or Latino? Yes, no. And then 2, what is your race? Select one or more of the following 5 categories. And it says American Indian / Native, Alaska Native, Asian, Black or African American, White, Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander. And then it also says additional options. You could click things like Black / African American, Alaska Native, Asian American, biracial, multiracial, Caucasian white, Chicano, Mexican American, Dominican, Hawaiian Native, Hispanic Latino, Middle Eastern, Native American Indian, tribal affiliation, enrollment number, Pacific Islander, Puerto Rican, South Asian, Southeast Asian, other. And then it's just those are the list. That's the recommendation list. And Zohran Mamdani put Black or African American. He clicked that button for one of the 2 questions. And it's see? That's crazy. He's not black. When it's but Mamdani's African American. No, what are you talking about? He's not black. It's no, he's not black. Yes, yes, I have eyes. I can see him. I can see Zohran Mamdani is not black. I'm not fucking stupid. I don't have color blindness. I can look at him and see he is not black. Yes. But he is literally African American. He is an American citizen who was born in Uganda. Yes. He is African American in the most literal sense of the word. It's not his fault that they put black in the same fucking category. And you see, that's the point. The smear is to try and get black voters to think Zohran Mamdani is trying to pretend that he's you. He's trying to deceive you. But no, it's what this thing actually shows is that these fucking things make no sense. Literally, just put on it. Literally, look. Let me put this in perspective. Me, ethnicity, race information. Are you Hispanic? If I had to file this thing, I literally can't answer this. I can't answer this. 1, are you Hispanic or Latino? Yes, obviously. What is your race? Select one or more of the following categories. I can't select any of the categories. I cannot select any of those categories. I'm not Black or African American. I'm not Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander. I'm not American Indian / Alaska Native. I'm not Asian. Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like most people say that they have like some Native American in their like blood. Everybody says that. I'm half white, but I don't look it. So like, what do I put? What the fuck do I put? I do not identify as white because I am not white. I don't look white. Nobody looks to me. Nobody goes to me and says, "Hey, you're a white guy," and treats me like a white guy. They treat me like I'm Latino. They treat me like I'm Hispanic, Chicano, or whatever. They treat me like that. That is what they treat me like because my name is a very, I guess, ethnic sounding name. If you know, you know. If you don't know, sucks to be you. But it's a very ethnic name. It's not like I can go up to them and be like, "Oh, I'm Steve, blah blah blah." I mean, I guess I probably sound white-ish, but like the point is, outside of like, if you see me, you can't mistake me for white. So it's like I'm not one of the traditional like racial groups that are put in this category. So I literally can't answer that question. Put that in the same vein for Zohar Mamdani. He is a Punjab Hindi. He's of Indian descent. Like, so he's literally like, he's Asian. He's American. He's from Africa. Literally, it's like he has so many different ethnicities that he can put on there. Like, the thing would be better if they literally just listed every single different... Because, like, and look at this. It's, like, additional information. It's like, why are Dominican, Puerto Rican different from Mexican American? Why are those three separate things? And why does it say Hispanic... Why is Hispanic and Latino different, too? I don't get it. Like, why are these different categories? These don't make any sense. Southeast Asian, South Asian. I'm pretty sure there's differences between South Asian and Southeast Asian, but there's some people like, well, maybe, like, it's like, what? Why does Native American Indian get you to have a specific tribal affiliation when you can't do like Hispanic Latino? Like, where are you from? Where's your blood from? Like, hold on. Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, like, why are they different categories down here and the same thing up here? That's the thing. These ethnicity and race questions make no sense. They make no sense. And I noticed this, it doesn't say Jewish. Like, what if you're ethnically Jewish? That's not an option on there. That's not an option on there. The only ethnicity options are Hispanic, Latino. And there's a reason why. Like, there's a reason why this is so complicated. It's because of historical racism. Literally, Hispanic Latino used to be a racial option, but then they changed it to an ethnic option. They changed it to its own separate category because back in the 40s, Americans needed more labor in America because all their boys were off going to fight the Nazis. So they basically put that down so that they can allow more Mexican immigrants to come into America so that they could take jobs. And then that quickly changed a little bit afterwards so they could be sent back. But then they changed it again so that they could bring them back in. And they just stuck. Like, literally, there is so much wrong with this sort of, like, fucking thing. Literally. It's just stupid. And I'm glad that this discourse is finally being revealed, especially for people with multiracial and multi-ethnic backgrounds. Genuinely, if maybe we should just not have these questions at all. Maybe these should be irrelevant. Maybe, like, why do we have to check these again? I'm pretty sure, I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say that, I'm pretty sure that some, crusty old white guys in offices probably do want to know if somebody is, Middle Eastern or, Latino or anything else. I'm pretty sure they want to know that for very specific reasons that don't involve literally tossing the application so that they can hire the next white guy. But regardless, let's move on to the next story. This one is not necessarily a political story. It's sort of I guess it's somewhat related to copyright, but it will tie into politics a little bit. But I mean, it's because I missed a story whatever. Let's just get into the story. YouTube is going to start cracking down on quote unquote unoriginal monetized content with improved detection. YouTube has announced a new update to a policy that further improves the detection of inauthentic content posted on the platform and demonetizes creators as such. Google-owned YouTube is taking more steps to ensure that the videos posted on the site are original and will be more accurately identified mass-produced content as part of a new policy update. Creators on YouTube can make a killing with the platform's monetization tools through the YouTube Partner Program, but in the age of AI, some users have been generating content that doesn't meet the criteria. Now the site will be bolstering its efforts in cracking down on certain content deemed unoriginal. YouTube expects those making money to produce content that is original and authentic and not repetitive. Your content should be made for the enjoyment or education of viewers rather than those for the sole purpose of getting views, the site's current monetization policy states. The platform says that reviewers can't view every video and instead promotes focus on the channel's main theme, most viewed videos, newest videos, and biggest proportion to the watch time. Coming July 15th, however, YouTube will be updating its guidelines that will be more strict with its approach to unoriginal content. In order to monetize content as part of the YouTube Partner Program, YouTube has always required creators to upload original and authentic content, the platform stated in a new statement. On July 15th, 2025, YouTube is updating guidelines to better identify mass-produced and repetitive content. This update better reflects what inauthentic content looks like today. We'll have to see, and this is the thing about this. They don't explicitly state what that means. That's the big thing that is very big. There is literally no fucking clue what this fucking means. Because a lot of people have been saying a lot of different things. A lot of people have been saying a lot of different things and oh, it means this, it means this, it means this. But literally. Let's look at the monetization platform, shall we? Here's what the actual YouTube guideline says. If you're making money on YouTube, your content should be original and authentic. This means that we expect your content to be your own original creation. If you borrow content from someone else, you need to change it significantly to make it your own. Not be duplicative or repetitive. Your content should be made for the enjoyment or education of viewers rather than for the sole purpose of getting views. But again, they're not clear what they mean about how they're gonna what they crack down and what they specifically mean. That's the problem with all these fucking things. The rules are written in such a vague way that literally anything can be interpreted like that. Especially with that latter category, it's then a bunch, if that latter category is actually enforced, oh, we're gonna monitor your videos to make sure that you're doing this for the love and passion of your work, and instead of doing it only for the views, it's well, a lot of YouTube channels are going to lose their monetization, baby. They're fucked, dude. They are absolutely fucked. But that's not obviously what I mean. They're probably just referring to the more probably for the more top point, which most people generally agree means one thing. It means that reaction channels are probably going to have a lot more of an issue with monetization. And most people blame this on the fact that Ethan Klein has been suing a bunch of people for not even defaming him, for saying the actual things that he says, and using the formats of reaction videos to do that. Despite the fact that Ethan Klein has explicitly stated that he is literally stated in a video explicitly that he has rescinded his intellectual property for his entire catalog. People are allowed to clip it. People are allowed to do whatever they want with it. And then, whenever people point that clip out, the first thing that's going to happen is that an Ethan Klein or Destiny fan is going to rush the comments and be actually, this clip is extended. And then they post the extended clip, which literally does not prove their case at all. It literally, in fact, reinforces the clip, because it states point blank that Ethan Klein's only ban on the type of content that he won't allow is wholesale re-uploads. And then it's okay, then reaction channels are not wholesale. And then they'll try to do a bend over backwards, trying to be oh, well, actually, it's no, it's not. No, it's not. Reaction channels are not wholesale re-uploads. That's just an objective fact. They're not. A wholesale re-upload is take video, upload it on another channel. That is what a wholesale re-upload is. A reaction channel does not, the reason why people were going after reaction channels back in the day was purely because they played the entire video, gave no commentary, and then, that was what the initial controversy was. But, with all the, literally, in every sense of the word nowadays, it's every single reaction channel that I've seen really does, do a lot more, commentary, does a lot more, analysis of the video. It's like, and even it's the thing is like, Ethan, he in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, because Ethan does the same thing on his fucking channel. Literally, when I mentioned this, one of his defenders literally was trying to say like, yeah, Ethan Klein literally re-uploaded the entire IDUPS content cop on him. It's like, so you admit that he's doing a wholesale re-upload of the content cop? And in fact, the way Ethan Klein does it is way worse, because Ethan Klein does that reaction channel thing where it's like, they put the screen is the entire of the thing, and then they're in the corner. So literally, it's a lot more of a issue than fucking what the rest of these people that he's suing is doing, where like, they put themselves like, I mean, Denims, I remember at least Denims, like, she has like literally like one half of the screen is basically her, and the other half is like the screen is tiny. And again, and this was one of the things, was like, oh, but like they're taking views, like because one of the things they keep saying, oh, but they intentionally said that they're taking views, so like, it's like, well, first of all, do you have any proof that these guys were like the people who were watching Denims and like Frogan and all these people? Do you have any proof that these guys were going to watch the content cop? Like, that's not the point. Like, the point is like, you have no. It's the thing. It's like, I'm not really the person to talk about this, because like my views on the copyright issue are like fucking vastly different than what a majority of people will say. But like, I think this is the reason why I think copyright is bullshit. Ethan Klein's weaponizing it to push for his own agenda. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's move on to the main topic of this video. And you may know a bit about the main topic already, considering I'm probably going to put text over the video, so that, again, I'm doing it so that nobody can misconstrue anything about what is said in this video, which is also why I'm including this beginning section, because this is mostly for people who might just happen to stumble upon this video and don't know who I am. Because for the recurring fans, for all the fans who've been here for a while, or even the fans who are somewhat here recently, or the fans with any sort of brain, you could probably piece together the already. But I'm just putting this out here so that nobody can take anything out of context. Nobody can take this out of misconstrued. Nobody can take nothing. It's very clear, like making it very clear right here, right now. I love Jewish people. Hold your applause. Hold your applause. I fucking took an IDR Labs quiz that it's a funny quiz. You should take it for yourself. I think it'd be interesting. You could take a quiz for yourself. It's just a funny quiz. You know, I mean, IDR Labs is like it's not like a fucking like really in depth like fucking website, but it's just like it's like a place that gives like it's relevant enough, but like regardless, like it's a quiz that gives you like. It gives you two spectrums, your Zionism spectrum and your Semitic spectrum. On one end, you have, pro, and then on the other hand, you have anti. On the quiz, I got a 100% philo-Semitic and 100% anti-Zionist. I've made multiple videos saying that anti-Semitism is bad. I've denounced and mocked every anti-Semitic conspiracy theory out there. The Elders of Zion, George Soros, the Rothschilds with Holocaust denial, Great Replacement theory. Like, it's stupid. I hate all of those things. I don't, like, I mean, it's like the same thing. It's like, I don't just, like, I mean, in any nation, like, it's general, you can, like, I mean, it's another thing. It's like, I'm trying to say this because, like, it's really hard to explain because on the same vein, I'm pretty sure someone could like find like every single like fucking random comments of me saying like, oh, I hate Christians, but like it's easier to do that for like the like a dominant religion in a country. It's easier to do that than for a religion that is currently not the leading one in the nation. But regardless, I've also called out, Jewish stereotypes for obvious BS, because like most stereotypes are, but also called out the fact that many Jewish stereotypes are actually forced upon them due to anti-Semitism, which then in turn has then been used to cause more anti-Semitism. Like the whole conspiracy about like quote unquote the bankers. That conspiracy theory was literally started because back in the really olden days, Jewish people were not hired for a lot of jobs. The only jobs that they were allowed to be hired for was banking, because everybody at the time wasn't that much of a fan of Jewish people, so they literally forced them out of literally every single other job, and they could only get that job But then that stereotype was then turned around and then used against them. Much the same way how it's like people think that black people are quote unquote more disposed to crime, and then in turn they over police them, which causes them to be more part of they be more incarcerated, which then people then turn around and go, see? I mean, I'm the same guy who literally dedicated an entire podcast on the subject of left-wing anti-Semitism. A lot of what I've espoused on a plethora of issues has its explicit roots traced to Jewish thinkers, Bernie Sanders, Meyer London, Victor Berger, Albert Einstein. Although granted, I just learned today, as of the day I'm recording this, that Victor Berger was apparently really racist. Oops, I don't know that. I somehow missed that part. But yes, that even includes issues like Israel-Palestine, which, if I piece together again, I am basically an anti-Zionist. In fact, I even went so far as up until very recently, wasn't even necessarily a fan of using the term anti-Zionist, because I was a little bit concerned about a potential possibility of an issue regarding anti-Semitism. But, as I've done more research, and I've learned a lot more of the literal distinctions between anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism, and a lot of the other things, I'm just like, okay, I'm a bit more comfortable using the term anti-Zionist now. I also was a little bit like, I really want to define myself as like what I'm anti, more what I'm for, but like, again, whatever. Call me an anti-Zionist, I don't really fucking care. It's the same thing how I was like, I use the term radical pacifist because I'm a little bit concerned about like how some people use the term anti-imperialist. Like, yeah, but like anti-imperialist is like the actual, that would actually be what my fucking ideology is, so it's like, what's the point? In my honest opinion, one of the best world leaders right now is Jewish, Claudia Sheinbaum. I think that hating someone purely based on their religious or ethnic identity is fucking cringe as shit. Even in the realm of critiquing religion, like, why signal out Judaism of all of them? Like, unless you are in Israel, the only nation where Jewish people are a majority, there's no reason to, like, signal out Jewish people in any other nation. It's the same as being like, in Saudi Arabia, let's criticize Christians. Like, yeah, I mean, wow, you're so brave for going after a fucking, like, tiny religious group. I'm, of course, an anti-theist, so I blanketly oppose all forms of religious fundamentalism and breaking the barrier between the magic fairy tales into governmental policy, especially when it's used to espouse some sort of supremacy. Hence, my opposition to Israel, as not only is it actively committing a genocide in the land of Palestine that they have been colonizing since 1948, and have actively continued to do much worse things since 2023, but also because they are a religious ethno-state that treats people who are not Jewish Israelis as second-class citizens. It's literally been codified into law at least since 2018, and has been the de facto rule for longer than that. I do not hate it specifically because it is Jewish. If it was Muslim, if it was Christian, if it was Shinto, if it was Buddhist, if it was whatever, that's the irrelevant part. The part that bothers me is like the fucking like ethno-nationalism about it. Keep in mind, all of this is to reiterate a point so that nobody who is actually serious can misconstrue me in any way, shape, or form. I know it's gonna happen regardless, but I honestly don't give a shit. I'm just doing that for my own peace of mind. And a lot of this stuff has led to a little bit of a big issue in regards to talking points. Like, one of the big things that's been a talking point for a long-ass time is the idea of, quote-unquote, a rise in a new anti-Semitism. This has been a thing since before October 7th. Even before October 7th, it's been a thing. People have been pointing this out for a while. Literally, it's been a concept ranging all the way back to the 1960s, 70s, back when pro-Palestine activism started becoming a lot more noticeable, because leftists said such controversial, dangerous things like Palestinian babies deserve to live. And considering all the statistics of the rise in anti-Semitism, unironically include groups like Jewish Voice for Peace as examples of said rise of anti-Semitism, some have even questioned the alleged rise of anti-Semitism in general. In a similar vein to some people questioning the concept of left-wing anti-Semitism. Like, some people literally are just like, oh, well, that makes no sense. Because, left-wing politics, anti-hate is kind of intrinsically linked to left-wing politics, so how can this happen? And it's like, well, like, if you remember that episode, I'll link it somewhere. It's not the best audio-wise, it's an older episode, but, like, I think the general point is good, but, like, maybe I haven't rewatched it in a while. I was going to rewatch it before I made this episode, but, I guess I just didn't have time for it. But, like, I think some of the general points I made in it were fine in general. But like, the point that I got in the original episode is like, even if it's a small problem, it's a problem that, like, you know, let's get rid of it before it becomes a big thing. And to pretend that it doesn't exist is ludicrous. Like, to pretend that, like, look, dude, come on. There are millions of people around the world that identify as politically left-wing. To the idea that there isn't at least one fucking person in that crowd that is anti-Semitic would be ludicrous. But it's the same way it's like saying, oh, there are millions of people in the Democratic Party that are fucking, like, registered with the party. I mean, at least one of them has to be, like, a white supremacist. Like, it's statistically not possible for it to not be a thing at all. But also to pretend that it is a massive thing is also stupid, because, like, a lot of these people with the rise of anti-Semitism, like, they literally, like, even JJ's like, oh, anti-Semitism is now a left-wing problem, and then literally the day afterwards, literally fucking, like, every single big right-wing pundit just started becoming an anti-Semite. If we're fair, I would say that the amount of leftists around the world that are anti-Semites are like 5% or less. And that's being generous if we were to tell people at their word, because there's a lot of here's and there's, of course, that, you know, people would say, like, literally, in my perspective, that a person who is hateful for people about a religious or ethnic identity is not a real leftist. Like, I mean, and I know that it's not even necessarily, like, the most popular thing, but, like, I think that people who are, like, anti-gay are, like, fucking, like, there's no way you can be a leftist. Like, I mean, and I know it's, like, just, like, a thing, but, like, and that's from my perspective, but that's here and there. But, like, that's, regardless, that's the point. But again, to acknowledge that it wasn't a thing is, like, kind of, you know, it's just not possible. Like, I mean, come on. Like, I mean, I don't want to throw him under the bus, even though, like, come on, I'm not throwing him under the bus. Like, but I know some people sub to me because of the, but I just gotta say, Hassan, I don't think is anti-Semitic. I have not seen anything that really remotely says that he is an anti-Semite or whatever. But, I mean, of course, there are some people who are anti-Semitic who, I mean, Hassan Piker is literally the largest fucking, like, left-wing Twitch streamer ever. The idea that at least one of his fans the idea that none of his fans are anti-Semites are kind of ludicrous. Especially when there's actual kind of verifiable evidence that I can use to point that out as a fact. Like when Claudia Sheinbaum was on the poise to be elected to Mexican presidency, literally a ton of people in the audience were like, is she a Zionist? I heard she's a Zionist. But it's like, she's not. There's literally nothing about Claudia Sheinbaum that would even remotely indicate that she's a Zionist, except for the fact that she was Jewish. Which is just unequivocally not. Like, unequivocally, that's obviously not true. Like, she's been, like, a loud voice for Palestinians. Even Hassan Piker was like, hey, dude, come on, like, what the fuck, man? That's not, no. And, well, of course, when you're at the point where you're literally saying, like, Jewish voice for peace is, like, part of the reason why anti-Semitism is on the rise, that's kind of ludicrous. But I don't even necessarily disagree with the concept that there is a rise in anti-Semitism. I mean, in recent history, we had the alt-right, which is now just mainstream Republican politics. You know, nothing new. Right-wing movements are inherently very xenophobic of various different groups, ethnically and religiously. So unless Jewish people become the largest religion or ethnicity, they are doomed to face persecution by the reactionary right. But there is one major aspect of the analysis that, I mean, I don't know if I've seen a lot of people do this, but, like, it's something I've dabbled a bit in the past, and it's the fact that whatever current rise of anti-Semitism you can claim exists, like, whether you believe that it's, like, a massive thing or whether you believe that it's, like, a small thing, the one thing that I think is 100% obvious is that the reason why it's happening is because of Zionists. Like, I mean, I really do believe with every fiber of my being that Zionists, or the ideology of Zionism itself, are what is unequivocally leading to the rise in anti-Semitism. And this is a thing that me and many other people on the political left have been warning about for years, but it's finally coming to a head. It all started with the weaponization of anti-Semitism. It's a thing that right-wing Zionists have been doing for years. It's like, I mean, ever since they've heard about it, like, it's been way more prevalent, especially since 2016, when pro-Palestinian activism became a lot more readily apparent. My first experience with it was when I saw how the media was treating Jeremy Corbyn and Ilhan Omar for being anti-Semitic because they did such horrible things like call for peaceful boycotts of Israel to diminish their power in the occupied Palestinian territories, call out lobbying of pro-Israel groups, call out the evil racist policies of Netanyahu, and as they kept saying, like, oh, look at this evil, dangerous, anti-Semitic stuff they're doing, I'm sitting there just like, wait, what? Is that it? All this sounds completely fine. Like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, literally every single thing that would happen is just like, I literally do not see a problem with this at all. At all. Like literally, it's just like, none of them are saying anything that is, like, hateful towards Jewish people. They're not saying anything remotely, like it's even weird, because, like, they'll say, like, oh, well, like, how dare Ilhan Omar say that there's, like, a Zionist lobby that's, like, spending money to, like, influence political candidates. Like, but that's, like, actually true. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? That's, like, a true thing. She didn't say anything about Jews. She said it was, like, a group that was lobbying on behalf of the issue of Zionism, on behalf of Israel. That is a fact. There are, in fact, multiple Zionist lobby groups. J Street, Democratic Majority for Israel, the Republican, like, I forget what the fucking one on the Republican side is, but, like, AIPAC is the biggest one, obviously. Like, nobody would say, like, oh, there's a political action committee that's spending money to elect black candidates. Nobody would be, like, scared about that. Like, that nobody was like, oh, that's an anti-black conspiracy theory. It's like, no, that's a thing. That is literally a thing. What do you mean? The Black Caucus has a political action committee that they use to fund candidates that are black. Like, oh, that's a real thing. Like. There are pro-Israel candidates, and they get money from pro-Israel lobbying groups. That's a literal fact. Like, you have to literally intentionally misconstrue the information that is being said in order to come at it with, like, an evil, like tone. I mean, literally, like, Ilhan Omar called this out in 2019, and literally it's just like, in 2018, the year before Ilhan Omar called this out, like, all of the combined total of the Zionist lobbying groups that spent money in the election was $22 million. That is a thing. That is real. Things have gotten to the point where 22 million is just one lobbying group. But not just one lobbying group. Like, 22 million, remember, 22 million was the amount that every single Zionist lobby group spent in total in 2018. In 2024, AIPAC, one lobbying group, spent that amount of money on 2 congressional seats. Just 2. Remember, like, 2018, that was their entire spending for every single race. 22 million in 2 seats. In total, AIPAC spent $100 million. Again, this is just AIPAC. All of this is factual, readily available, public statements that have been made by AIPAC, by every single, like, fucking, like, group that counts money that is used in fucking campaign finance. It's available publicly. This isn't a factually incorrect statement at all. But you're apparently not allowed to call it out because it's quote, anti-Semitic, because that implies that it's like, that implies that it's not implying anything. It's a factual statement. Like, when the sun's out, it hurts your eyeballs. That's a factual statement. It's not implying anything. That's a factual, literal statement. It's a factual, literal statement that if you hold someone's head under the water, they drown. This isn't like a magic. This isn't like a magical, like, whatever. It's like, it's just a factual statement. But why didn't you call out other lobbying groups? Like, Jeremy Corbyn is a fucking socialist. Like, so is Ilhan Omar. Their whole spiel in this field is explicitly to get money out of politics. They are anti-capitalist. They do not want money to be used to influence anything. No shit. They're calling every fucking other lobbyist. Yeah, that's a fact. Like, they're not calling out AIPAC specifically because it is a lobby of people of a particular religion or whatever. I mean, there are a lot of people who shorthand it to the religion. Like, then you can use that as a thing. Like, if they're shorthanding it to a religion, like specifically to the religion, or they're saying like they don't like the lobbying group specifically because of his religion, then it's like, then that's one thing. that's another thing. Like, it's a completely different thing. But, like, again, they're calling it out because it's a lobbying group that literally tries to dictate policy in America on the behalf of a foreign government. That's what's happening. You can't say that. That's because of this Jewish stereotype. This is no. You don't understand. For AIPAC specifically, I don't know about what's going on in the UK, but like for AIPAC specifically, that is like a factual statement. Like, AIPAC literally spend almost every day, there's like a post from AIPAC or Netanyahu, they're like, we had a delightful meeting today, and it's like, that's very interesting, that's very weird what's going on. We dictated policy and how we can build the closer relationships between America and Israel. It's like, that seems like I'm just saying, that seems a little bit weird, right? Like, I mean, come on, like literally, look. If there was a group called ASPAC, the American Zimbabwe Political Action Committee, that spent $22 million on 2 seats in Congress, with millions in other seats, decided to dictate policies like every single day. It's like, oh, we have the bill to introduce the Zimbabwe has the right to exist. Here's a bill that says you can't boycott Zimbabwe goods. Here's a bill that says that we are going to maintain a huge military alliance with Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe's political enemies are now our political enemies, and blah blah blah. Like, they're doing all this shit. And then it's like literally every day that the American Zimbabwe Political Action Committee, like, it's like every day they show up and they're like, hey, here's me with the president of Zimbabwe. It's like, you'd probably go like, hang on a minute. That's a bit weird. That's a little bit interesting. Why is this PAC doing? What is this PAC doing? And it's the same thing with Israel. It's the same. Like, in America, people who worked for Russia today had to register as foreign agents because if they want to get actively involved in American politics, that's what they had to do. Because there was a worry that they'd prioritize the interests of Russia over America. It's like, in that same vein, why is not every single other group that has a relationship with another foreign nation doing that same thing? That just makes sense. Like, I'm not enforcing a double standard. I'm literally you're enforcing the double standard. I'm trying to bring them into this standard. And in AIPAC's situation, literally, this is the big thing. I did some research into this episode, and, well, here's an interesting factoid I learned. So, AIPAC was originally known as a group called the American Zionist Council, founded by a man by the name of Isaiah L. Kennan. Kennan not only served as a delegate for Israel in the United Nations, but also served as an agent for the Israeli Minister of Foreign Affairs until 1951, 2 years after the dissolution of the ACZ, and 3 years before its restructuring into the political group AIPAC. And due to all of this, Eisenhower and Kennedy demanded that Kennan and AIPAC register as foreign agents. In fact, the primary reason for the organization to turn into AIPAC was because the AZC had to register as a foreign agent, so AIPAC became a legally distinct organization that had literally all the same members, but it was literally I don't remember an organization that I can use to explain this, but I think literally that happens a lot where it's companies will literally go bankrupt and then they'll form a company that's literally the exact same thing. I guess I can use that for political parties, the Socialist Party, the Social Democratic Party of America disbanded, and then a day later they formed the Socialist Party. It's basically what changed aside from the name. Technically they're two legally distinct organizations, but come on, it's basically the same thing. As some might go well, yeah, but that's different. That's different. The AZZ, that makes sense, but for AIPAC, it's but dude, come on, literally they hired the exact same people, did the exact same jobs, the exact same things. It's literally, for lack of a better term, these were literally the exact same organization, just with a different name. But I also learned another factoid about fucking AIPAC. And the fact that this didn't change things is just so fucking weird. Okay, so in 2005, a Department of Defense employee named Lawrence Franklin was arrested. Why was he arrested, you may ask? Because he was giving classified information on American policy towards Iran to AIPAC and their policy director, Stephen Rosen, and their senior Iran analyst, Keith Weissman, who then decided to give this information to Israel. And the charges were dropped on the 2 AIPAC employees because Franklin admitted that he had revealed the information to Israel himself. And also because in order to pursue the case, the US would have had to reveal classified information during the trial. Just honestly, that's just like, what? Like, literally, when I read that, I'm like, huh? What do you mean? What is going on? It's like, at this point, having AIPAC register under FARA is the least you can do in regards to AIPAC. And there's a reason why they won't register under FARA. Like, if they register under FARA, then all the donations get under more scrutiny. They have to really get like nitty-gritty, like where the money's coming from, what's going on. They have to be very more discreet. And it's just, that's of course the reason why AIPAC doesn't want to do this. Now, like, literally, it's just like, again, this isn't just like, oh, because they're lobbying for Israel or whatever. It's like, if it literally, again, it could be any organization, it could be any fucking country. Like take the Uhuru movement. Let's paint this exact same situation. Let's take the Uhuru movement, the African socialist like movement or whatever it was called, that got arrested for like their association with Russia. Could you imagine if it went like a little deeper? If Omali Yeshitala was secretly giving US DoD secrets to Russia? If it were Russia, he would have literally fucking publicly executed. But because AIPAC does this, and they advocate and help a nation that the US is buddy-buddy with, not a peep. Zionists complain about the double standard, and they're right. There is a double standard. Everyone else is held at a higher scrutiny than Israel. Israel's literally allowed to do whatever the fuck they want. You hear it literally all the time. Like, oh, you're talking so much about Israel. Why don't you advocate against insert other country here? Why are you only going after Israel? And that is what we call a tu quoque fallacy, most commonly referred to as a whataboutism, which is obviously to dodge the issue to make Israel look better by downplaying their criticism. And it's a very stupid whataboutism too, because they choose literally the fucking dumbest countries to use. Like, here's some countries that they like to use in regards to like this whataboutism. Like, oh, why don't you talk about Iran? It's like, yes, American Westerner, why don't you talk about Iran, the nation that is literally one of the most like isolated from the West ever? That'll show them. Like, what is the U.S. supposed to do about it? Like, of course they're going to go after Israel because America aids and abets Israel in what they're doing. Like, no shit. Like, yeah, we have a control over some of the things that Israel does. Like, what do you mean? Oh, why don't you go after China? Well, one, same thing, but two, they do. Like, literally. Like, a lot of these same people are the one. This is the big thing. It's so weird. Like, it's like with the thing. These same people are the ones that are going to get mad. Like, oh, China's committing a Uyghur genocide. It's like, if what China is doing is a genocide, which it is, and yeah, it is, then what Israel's doing is worse, because what they're doing is worse than China. It is in fact, it's funny. If people like to do the thing where it's like, they say like, oh, the people propping the Uyghur thing was like an op, like a US op. I like to imagine like that, like they're trying to do that with me, like, oh, look, we're gonna radicalize them to like hate China and do all this stuff with the Uyghurs and stuff. It's like, I go like, yeah, that is pretty fucked up that they're like murdering and massacring a bunch of Muslims. It's like, yeah, we got him, boys. And it's like, and due to this fact, I now also believe that when Israel is doing the same thing to Muslims, I think that it is wrong for them to do it as well. It's like, oh shit, it backfired. It's like literally, it's like, what I believe that murdering people based on their religion is stupid and bad and evil. So it's like, I don't care if China's doing it. I don't care if Israel's doing it. I don't care if another Muslim nation is doing it. If you're doing it, stop doing it. That's bad. And I say bad and shame on you for doing it. You're a disgusting monster if you even remotely try to advocate for either of these people to do it. Because I've seen people, like, I've literally called out the arguments that some pro-China people try to use to justify the Uyghur genocide. That literally, I've called out their rhetoric. And it's like, this is the exact same rhetoric I see from Zionists every day. This isn't a double standard. I'm holding you both to the same standard. It is me being consistent with my political ideals that allow me to be critical of Israel. They don't get a special exemption from me. None of them, and notice again with all those criticisms, none of those criticisms have anything related to with their Judaism or the Jewish ethnicity. Literally, none of them. None of the criticisms. Similar to literally every single other left-wing critic of Israel. Ilhan Omar, Rashid Tlaib, AOC, Jeremy Corbyn, Zohar Mamdani, basically every single pro-Palestinian protester. It's not because of their religion specifically. It's because they are using their religion to justify the murder and genocide of people. That is what the problem is. If they stopped doing that and still were religious, then nobody would fucking care. And yet, despite that, it's all the left-wing people who are getting the problems and being criticized for attacking, like they're the ones who are getting called anti-Semites. And they're the ones who are being called, like, oh, you hate Jews or whatever. But it not only lessens the label of anti-Semitism, which allows for... It not only lessens the blow of anti-Semitism to the point where it's like, people aren't going to care when you call them an anti-Semite, but also it allows real, literal anti-Semites to go under the radar. And there are so many examples I can use. And I'm going to use some of them. Okay, first we got people like Elon Musk. Elon Musk he's criticized Israel's actions in Gaza. He's agreed with the theory that Jews are causing mass migration to the West. He's claimed that the entire Democratic Party is bought by Soros. He did a Nazi salute at Trump's inauguration. He actively boosted anti-Semitic accounts on Twitter. He endorsed a neo-Nazi party in Germany. Guess which one of these things that the Anti-Defamation League shit on him the most for? If you answered any of the actual anti-Semitic stuff, you'd be wrong. In fact, they flat out defended his Nazi salute. But they were really mad at him when he said that Israel was committing a genocide in Gaza. That was the thing that was a bridge too far for them. And that makes sense because it seems that a lot of the actual most hardcore supporters of Israel who are not Jewish are coincidentally some of the most anti-Semitic people out there. The Kennedy political family is a pretty good example. Joseph P. Kennedy Sr. was a raging anti-Semite. He hated Jews with every fiber of his being. And yet when his family became a political dynasty, his family was a huge supporter of Israel. Bobby Kennedy literally got fucking murdered because he was too pro-Israel. Now, you might go like, well, it's probably because Joseph Sr. was a little bit of an outlier. But no, RFK Jr. is also a raging anti-Semite who also supports Israel with every fiber of his being. Literally. I mean, I'm not sure what... I'm just saying, it seems likely that, especially considering, again, it was the 60s, it's pretty clear that the Kennedy family might have been saying some things behind closed doors. It seems that the people who are so-called opponents of anti-Semitism are okay with it as long as they support Israel. Because again, it's not really about the anti-Semitism, it's about the fact that these people don't hold political power to whatever. It's because, people like AOC, Ilhan, and all the socialists, they actually want to hold, the political elite, they want to hold their feet to the fire and actually, do something to address actual issues. These guys don't. They want to change anything. So that's why, most of them probably support, But anyways, not just RFK Jr. or Elon Musk, but the main man himself, Donald Trump, also has a lot of problems with anti-Semitism. There's an entire Wikipedia page that goes over his history of anti-Semitism, and the Times of Israel newspaper has an article that literally does the exact same thing. Remember when Donald Trump dodged the question about whether or not he rejected David Duke's endorsement? Remember when he used a political slogan that was associated with the Nazi sympathizers in World War II? Remember when Donald Trump had the leader of an extremely anti-Semitic party called William Johnson as a delegate for him in 2016? And by the way, William Johnson also supports Israel, by the way. And remember the time how literally 4 days of this episode before this episode got released, he literally compared certain bankers in the United States to a Jewish villain from Shakespeare. But notice that again, there's basically no peep from Zionists about this problem. I mean, the ADL got really mad at Joe Biden for doing the same thing, but, I guess he wasn't pro-Israel enough, even though he's literally one of the fucking most pro-Israel politicians on the planet. I do not understand what the fuck that happened. Literally. The ADL itself gave, the most tepid critique of what Donald Trump said imaginable. The most tepid critique. Literally. The these guys had more to say about a fucking cartoon frog than they had about the United States president doing actual literal anti-Semitism. I'm not kidding. The ADL page on Pepe the Frog is 356 words long. Their tweet about Donald Trump saying that was 59 words long. Like, that doesn't scare you. In fact, it gets praise. It gets $230 million checks. But the 18-year-old Muslim boy saying from the river to the sea is scary to you? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Another aspect comes to the fact that it seems that every single US politician from 1948 to 2018 supported Israel. It's not exactly that unfounded of a thing to say. I mean, there are definitely some that weren't really supporters of Israel, but, that requires a whole separate video in and of itself to go in depth. But when we're at the point where even the most politically fringe members of the United States House of Representatives at the time, the Socialist Party and the American Labor Party supported Israel, clearly anti-Semitism wasn't really the most popular political position to have. But now that anti-Zionism is on the rise, people are a little bit like, they're kind of like hungry for any political figure to like post tweets about, to go look a little base. This guy's base as heck. To make like fucking like fan cams or whatever. For the most part, best case scenario is that you have to find politicians that are critical enough of Israel to not be complete sycophants for the nation. Bernie Sanders, Myra London, etc. But we've also been seeing a lot of people find random political figures from the early 2000s to do the same thing with. And, sometimes they're not really doing it for the best reasons. And there are two prominent politicians that get that love, who've been the subjects of previous podcasts on the issue. The first one is the UK, which, weirdly enough, you actually have more pickings to choose from. George Galloway. A particular clip of Galloway's that's been getting a lot of clicks recently is when he was invited to debate the Israeli government propagandist Elon Levy back when he was just a college student, where Galloway literally walked away because he, quote, doesn't recognize Israel and won't disobey Israelis. As such, Galloway's been teetering on a line between anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism, but I'd argue that he veers a lot closer to the latter. The first being because after he was barred from the Labour Party, he decided to run in the Benthall Green and Bow election against Una King. King made allegations that Galloway and his supporters were trying to egg up the Muslim population in the area to support him over her because they were trying to claim, oh, well, who you really think is going to be more trustworthy on Muslim issues, me or her? Wink, wink. And that was like, what? And this is the thing. Apparently, they weren't even trying to hide it. It wasn't even a thing where they're like trying to be like, oh, well, she's a Zionist. Like, no, but she wasn't. She actually wasn't. 2 years before the election, Una King literally called for a boycott of Israeli goods because she visited Gaza and saw what was going on. So that clearly wasn't the problem. But the thing that really solidified it for me was the fact that George Galloway openly backed RFK Jr. for president in 2024, so he made the active choice, he had the choice to act, he literally made the active choice to back a guy who is a Zionist and an anti-Semite. So, it's pretty clear the Zionism isn't the thing that got his attention. The other one that's been getting a lot of attention is former Representative Cynthia McKinney, who, in no uncertain terms, is an unabashed anti-Semite. No ifs, ands, or buts. She's denied the amount of people who died in the Holocaust. She's blamed Jews on the hacking of the 2016 election. She thinks Jews did 9/11. And literally last year appeared in a documentary praising Adolf Hitler. And yet, when I try to talk to people and try to push people away from supporting her in her endeavors, I get shit from them because they're so used to people being baselessly smeared as anti-Semites that the real ones literally won't register. When you are at the point where you are accusing Bernie Sanders and Jewish Voice for Peace of anti-Semitism, you make the term lose so much meaning that people might not care about being labeled it. Zionists are the boy who cried wolf, and they're already starting to get bitten in the ass. If you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, some people will jump the shark because they'll be called a naughty word regardless of whether or not they preface it with extreme philo-Semitism. Especially when you spend so much time making sure that all the people who oppose Israel for non-anti-Semitic reasons do not have a route to become politically relevant. Like, for real, what's the game plan? In the Palestine situation, literally, Israel spent their time and money to stop the secular and not anti-Semitic Yasser Arafat and his party, Fatah, from becoming too powerful, and helped build up Hamas, with the explicit intention to hurt the cause of Palestinian statehood. Now, due to that situation, Fatah is barely politically relevant to your average Palestinian, especially in Gaza. But that's only one aspect of Zionist breeding anti-Semitism. There's another aspect that I've noticed as I do research into all of this and being actively involved in the broader discussion of Zionism and anti-Zionism. And I'm just going to be upfront and say it. I think the actions of Zionists are literally going to be used to justify every single anti-Semitic trope. Everything. Everything. Every conspiracy theory, every negative stereotype, everything. They shouldn't be, but that will happen. I have no clue if this is fucking intentional or happenstance, but it's so insane to notice that literally every single prominent Zionist figure are giving every single anti-Semite so much fuel for the fire based on their own actions. It really does suck that Zionists are 100% to be blamed for this, and that a lot of innocent Jewish people are going to get the brunt of this. But let's go over it bit by bit. One of the oldest anti-Semitic conspiracy theories is, of course, the Elders of Zion, the completely fake text that claims that there's a worldwide cabal of Jewish people trying to take over the world, that they have a hand in all the world governments, yeah, we all know the bullshit, whatever. We've heard it before, I mean, we probably have, but it's been regurgitated so many times over. Its most recent interpretation is the term Zionist Occupied Government, or ZOG, claiming the US government is controlled by Jews or Israel. And while, of course, normal people know that's bullshit, I'm pretty sure anti-Semites are definitely going to think that they've been proven wrong when 398 of the 535 of the Congress members are literally bought by AIPAC, who literally openly work on behalf of the Israeli government. I'm sure seeing Trump allegedly campaign as the anti-war president, then having Netanyahu egg him on into helping us go to war with Iran, won't prove them right at all. I'm sure the passage of laws that will explicitly forbid people from exerting their First Amendment rights to boycott the goods of a foreign nation, nor seeing that people can literally be deported for protesting Israel won't prove them right at all. Nope. It won't validate that fucking Kevin Strom quote that's been repeated over and over again. No, it's not going to validate them at all. I'm sure the claim that people who are Jewish control the entertainment industry won't be proven right in their minds when they see every single pro-Palestinian celebrity be blacklisted from their specific industry for their outspoken nature on the issue. Mehdi Hassan, Mia Khalifa, Rachel Zegler, Kneecap, Bob Villain. I'm sure the stereotype about Jews and their honesty won't be proven to these anti-Semites' minds when they see literally every single pro-Israel advocate lying blatantly about everything in order to support Israel or smear everyone who critiques Israel, especially if they proudly claim that they represent the Jewish people. No, dude, trust me, dude. This house that the IDF completely leveled totally had a pristine, crystal clear copy of Mein Kampf in the nursery. I swear. I'm honest, man. I swear. I'm sure everyone who makes the claim that a majority of Jews support the actions of Israel won't be used to justify hatred for Jews at all. That last one is especially troubling because the thing is, I know a lot of people aren't doing this intentionally. They're literally just pointing out actual statistics. I got someone in the comment section who they are Jewish and they literally said no, but a vast majority of Jewish people do support Israel. It's yeah, but you really think that that's not going to be used at all? You really think saying that is a point? You really think that literally it's we see objectively what is going on. This is a fact. Just think about it. You're saying out loud that the genocide in Gaza has the mass support of Jewish people. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? No, but the support Israel. No, but that's the thing. That's what's happening. That's what Israel's doing. That's what Israel's been doing for 77 years. That is a fact. What is happening right now has literally been described as the first live-streamed Holocaust. We have so much information about what is going on in Gaza that it is actually insane that anybody who doesn't have any semblance of shame is just going to flat out denounce and pretend it doesn't exist. There's no avoiding it. What is going on in Gaza right now is very clearly unequivocal genocide. There is no scenario where we are having a discussion about this where I am not thinking about the 56,000 Palestinians that were slaughtered in the past 21 months. Not a one. Not a one. You could say all you want that like the vast majority of people support Israel. But it's like, you really think that is going to be putting you in a good light? You really think it's helping you at all? You really think it's helping you? You really think it's helpful saying, like, oh, well, a vast majority of this religion supports this very evil action? It's like, yeah, you really think it's not going to be used for fucking anti-Semites to, like, be fueled? You really think it's not going to happen? I don't want to hear fucking peep at any of you if you're trying to fucking deny it. If you fucking deny it, you're a sick fucking human being. Like, literally, what is happening? If you even dare to deny what is happening in Gaza right now as a genocide, you are basically the equivalent of a Holocaust denier. The Holocaust is literally one of the most documented events in human history. We have so much information on it that is unequivocally stupid that any single fucking human being can even pretend that it doesn't happen. And it's like, Zionists literally say, there are Zionists who unironically say that if you call what is happening in Gaza a genocide, that you are doing Holocaust denial. Because they don't believe what is happening in Gaza is a genocide. It's insane. It is fucking insane. And this is one more thing. There's one more unfortunate thing about this that I've seen this. There are some people who have actually used what is going on in Gaza to justify Holocaust denial or flat out justify the Holocaust itself. Remember that documentary I told you about with Cynthia McKinney? You want to know what it's called? It's called Occupied. Because the whole point is that it starts off as a documentary about Gaza, and then it shifts to start promoting anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Then shifts talking about Hitler. Because literally the point is like the point is like, I don't even want to fucking like even acknowledge, like, say these things out loud, but it's just like their point is that the argument they're trying to make is that what is happening in Gaza could have been prevented, of course, through a horrific action, obviously. And then there are some people who even go so far as to say that, well, if they actually suffered a very tragic event like this, then why would they do it for another people? If they're lying about what's going on in Gaza right now, what else did they lie about? Which is fucking abhorrent, literally. It's just like, again, the Holocaust is the most documented event in human history. And what's happening in Gaza is literally described as the live-streamed Holocaust because of how much information is available on it. Nazis are very quick to point out the irony of the statements, quote-unquote, never again and never forget, are conveniently forgotten around the time when fucking Palestine is suffering a genocide. And in the Arab world, Holocaust denial becomes more prominent because Israel literally uses the Holocaust to justify their genocide of the Palestinians. Like how it's easy to blame them doing bad things because of their religion and race, some people take the easy way out in that argument too. It's an argument that it's stupid. Like, it's stupid. It's a stupid fucking argument. Like, literally, it's very odd. It's why I said the phrase at the beginning. Is this intentional? Because, like, what I genuinely cannot understand how Zionists could unironically see anything about this beyond hurting Jewish people in the long road and making anti-Semitism more easy to do. I understand this about the fact they're ethno-nationalists. Like every ethno-nationalist, they don't think that far ahead. They want the short-term gain they'll trade away the long-term negativity for short-term gain. Like, in the short-term gain, they get to have their willies and by murdering all the Palestinians, but in the long term, it's like, Israel's now isolated from the rest of the world now. An entire generation of youth are just never going to support Israel ever, on the right and left, for very different reasons. And it's just never literally, it's gone. It's weird. It's weird. Every reactionary group does the same thing. And it's just insane that... It's just insane. I honestly just, it is insane. Like, I don't know how others will react. I hope a majority of the subscribers here will share my viewpoint in this regard. But, it's, again, to say something that I said at the beginning of the segment, anti-Semitism is cringe. It's the stupidest thing you could do. Like, I can never be an anti-Semite because I'm never going to be that fucking stupid. It's the easy way out. It'd be so easy to just look at a person's race, religion, and make all these prescriptions about them. That'd be the easiest fucking thing in the world. Zionists do it too. Their viewpoint is so easy. They just look at Palestinian people existing. They're like, someone's got to put a stop to this. They could see that, but it's like, and it'd be so easy to just look at them and go like, oh, your religion is bad, or your religion, or your ethnicity, or whatever. It'd be so easy. But that is fucking stupid. I don't hate you because of your religion. I hate you because of your ethno-nationalist ideology, which I guess in this particular instance you are using your religion. But like, there are Zionists of other different religious faiths. There are atheist Zionists, like Richard Dawkins, Theodore Herzl. He was atheist. He was a secular. I mean, he was ethnically Jewish, so that's a different thing. There are Muslim Zionists, and there are obviously Christian Zionists. Christian Zionists are probably a lot more prominent than Jewish Zionists at this point. I mean, those groups might be more egregious. Like, all those groups might actually be more egregious than Jewish Zionists, because they're not in the... I mean, aside from Christians, there's literally no gain. Like, I mean, if you're an atheist Zionist, there is no gain for you. Like, I mean, the point of, like, being an ethno-nationalist in an ideology is that you get a gain from it. It's like being a black white supremacist. It's like, what are you getting out of this? I don't get it. What is the gain? Like, to anybody who is actually like a Zionist who is watching this video and didn't immediately like downvote and click off of it because I said such horrible things like Palestinian children deserve to have their intestines on the inside, not on the outside. I mean, this is for you. This is for you. Like, I'm talking about the people, like, I want to give this message to not just like Zionists who are still watching this video, but like, to the ones who actually believe the anti-Semitism is on the rise. Talking about, like, you genuinely believe that. You genuinely believe that. Like, whatever you like you actually genuinely believe that. All right, like, you genuinely believe that. If you genuinely believe that, why would you then not take a look at the strategy that your side is espousing, which has been the exact same playbook for years? Again, I told you, the weaponization of anti-Semitism, at the very least, like, that started in the 1960s and 70s. That is where it began. And other forms of these rhetoric styles and analysis, they've been doing this for years. Like, Zionists and people who advocate for Israel, literally, they've been doing this for years. Decades, even. Like, it's been the same strategy, and that strategy is leading to the point where you are now seeing this world where anti-Semitism is on the rise. Why would you then not go, this strategy clearly isn't working. We should try to change our strategy to do something different. But that would require you to have a level head, which at this point I don't think is possible. Like, I mean, I only say that like, because, again, like, it's just saying this because I think it's be useful to get the information out. I don't think any Zionist is actually watching past, like, the fucking first segment. Because I think, genuinely, if you're a Zionist in the year 2025 and you're above the age of 25, there's literally nothing I can do to convince you. Similar to anti-Semites of the same age range, you have access to the same information that I do. If you refuse to make use of that information and you you'd rather stay in your little fucking bubble of hate, there's nothing I can do for you. Maybe I can try my best to reach into whatever semblance of rational humanity is deep inside you, but I don't think it's possible. I think it's way more likely that while I try to reach for it, you guys are going to try and drown me. So it's my point to just not get in the water. I'm just saying, if we did anything in my strategy, no ethnic cleansing, no genocide, Gaza's free, West Bank is free, Palestine is free, democratic state, everybody's happy, hunky-dory, if we tried any of those different strategies, like, as opposed to, like, the colonization and the ethnic cleansing, maybe things would be different. Like, there's not much we can do about the past now. What we can do now is try to remedy it for the future. Anyways, all I have left to say is, fuck Zionism, free Palestine. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell to notify when a future video of mine comes out. And if you're interested in more content from me, consider supporting me on Patreon.